All right, welcome to my Epic Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are multiple mediums on which you can enjoy this content. But my favorite way, and the way you're possibly gonna want to go today, is the blog. And the blog is parked at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. I know that's a lot to remember or to type in. So, wherever you are engaging with this content, look for a prompt of more info, intro, description, something of that nature. If you tap on that, then another box opens, which has a link to the blog, the free blog. And you don't even have to put your email address in, and I don't sell you anything. It's just straight articles. Today, there's a video. I got a video you might want to see, and I do mean see because there's no sound because it was all Arabic. So um anyway, alrighty. Again, I want to say thank you for hitting the thumbs up. Thank you for your supportive comments, and let's get into it. This I shan't be long. Yeah. That's what I say sometimes, huh? But really, there was really like no news, but the news that there was worth reporting. Okay, so it's Friday, July 25th, 2025. So July is really getting away from us, isn't it? All right. And um the banks have been talking, and there was a CBI memo that was out, right? But still no sighting of Aaliyah Locke. So maybe he's on vacation. Who knows? But an Iraqi bank directs its branches to simplify account opening procedures. Oh, yeah, and no Lauren denoms are out. I don't know who, I don't care. Apparently, allegedly, I don't know because I didn't see it for myself, but a couple, well, I'll say several. Which is more? Whichever is more. Couple, several, go with the one that's more. Sent me this. No, you didn't send me that. This image. I think someone said these are lower denoms. This is what you guys are asking me. Okay. I don't know if someone said that or not, but yes, this is our $1 bill, but all you have to do is enlarge this and it says Turkish lira. So yeah, that, okay. So debunked. All right. And even if, say you didn't do that, say for some reason you get cut off from all of Dinarland, but you still follow the news. Google is so, uh, it's called Google Lens, and I think you either take a picture of something, or I don't know, I've never used it, but I see it in my little space bar up there. But I think you can take a picture of something, and with AI or whatever, you can ask, you can find out in a very short time what the thing is you're looking at, where you can buy it, you know, you can find out a lot of information. So that's, you know, immediately when I got it, that's what I did. I just, enlarge it. Oh, it says right there, Turkish lira. So, okay. All right. So let's get back. Yeah, so Iraqi Banks directs its branches to simplify account opening procedures. So I'm thinking they're doing this because they want more people to come in, or they know they're going to get a rush of people coming in. So either way, I think it's good, right? And some people are hesitant because they hear you have to bring all these documents and they scan you, and that's true. But so they're going to make it easy now. They're going to make it easier, like Toyota. Easy on you, right? Okay. So they're going to Facilitating procedures represents a practical step towards attracting more customers and expanding the banking system's client base. Because remember, we're past Sadani wanted July 1st, right? He wanted all the banks in the country to be modernized with the point of sale machines and ATMs. I don't think that happened though, right? Anyway, and achieving financial inclusion is a strategic priority that contributes to supporting economic development, promoting a culture of savings, and integrating undeserved groups. Underserved. You see where I went? Undeserved. Rewind. Underserved groups into the financial system as part of the digital transformation project that the bank is adopting during the next phase. I like that. So yeah. So they do it first, and then Rashid Bank does it, and then the other banks do it. Right? So that's good. Okay. This article's a little scary, but it was only on one site, and you can, the link is here when this is a live uh, blog. See here, I don't think you can see, but it says preview right here because it's not live yet. Oh, here's yeah, see that right there? That's the website, and there's the link to it. But so an unannounced meeting was held in Istanbul in recent days, bringing together the assistant chairman of the Federal Reserve and high-ranking delegation from the CBI. So maybe that's where Leolac was. Maybe he was in Turkey at this meeting, right? The source stated that the meeting came at the urgent invitation of the U.S. to discuss critical developments in the file of financial transfers and Iraqi banking transactions. So, yeah, and oddly enough, I was going to say interestingly enough, but I'm going to say oddly enough, isn't that where the talks, uh, the neighbor that ends with an N, the neighbor and us, and the mediators, they're having their meeting there. So this was probably a side meeting, right? All right, so according to the source, the U.S. side informed the Iraqi delegation that new financial sanctions are under preparation to be imposed on a number of Iraqi banks and financial institutions due to what the U.S. side described as continued violations in international transfer systems. Okay, and what is that? That's the new way. That's the new way that they're doing business in the dollars, right? Audited by those Oliver Wyman and Ernst & Young, and the failure of some Iraqi entities to comply with international guidelines to combat money laundering and terrorist financing. So if you want to read this, you can. Direct warnings, a new crisis is looming. So no official comment yet. Okay, so that's basically hearsay. But if you've been listening or watching, all of my posts, I've been saying there's tension between us, well, our administration and Sudani, right? Okay, and let me show you something else. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna put this. Okay, hold on. Okay, this will be another item that will be at the bottom of the blog. So you see this? Washington. So this is somebody's name. It's either the name of a TV show or somebody's name. These 4 letters right here. Washington is dissatisfied with the Iraqi government's performance. So it's a YouTube video in Arabic. So I'll put it there if you want, but it's in Arabic. Okay? But they let me see the transcript. So It doesn't really make sense. Oh yeah, so there's his name, Mr. Aga. Aga? What's happening in Parliament? She asks. And he says there's problems. And, because it's YouTube and their translation thing is not really good, right? But this popular mobilization law, that's an issue. And I think I talked about that yesterday, right? Um, did America really interfere with the law? Yeah. But see, we don't see it as interference. We see it as we're looking out for you, Iraq. Don't you see? They're trying to take advantage of you. Stick with us, do what we say, and you'll be all right. Right? That, and don't you think that's what Marco Rubio said to Sadani? And then remember, it said they put that law on hold. But that's for now, right? Anything could happen. So let us put new sanctions on. Now, it won't be the country and it won't be the money. It'll be institutions and possibly people, you know, it'll be entities. So that'll be the sanctions. So it won't be as bad as it sounds, but it's still not good, right? But so they say, is America really interfering in this matter? Yes, thank you very much. And then I guess they went to another segment because clearly you can see it's chopped up. This show was probably an hour long because there's like six guests, but they only talked to him. So relations between the federal government and the region, Kurdistan, on the relationship between the government, the federal government, and the rest of the parties, America is noticing. So there's that tension between Baghdad and Erbil, right? Which maybe that's fake, but at least in public, we can see that, right? Or maybe it's just business, right? It's just business, it's not personal. I want my money. You want to send as little oil as possible. We we bang heads. But outside of that, you're my cousin, right? It could be that. Okay, so he says here agreement is normal, but it's not practical. Here you see that word. He talks about the cones, scones, and phones. The issue is worrying, but he says somewhere here, he says, oh, look, he says Iraq, this administration that governs with extreme capriciousness. And he's saying it's very unpredictable the way they do things. The administration has become a danger to Iraq. Now that's that guy. But somewhere in here it says, he flat out says, Washington is not pleased. Washington is dissatisfied. So I'm going to put that. That'll be the second thing to the bottom if you want to read that for yourself. And I will. I'll embed the video. It's only like 2 minutes, but like I said, they chopped it up. All right. So here's another article about the Iraqi economy suffers from significant weakness. An expert identifies the reasons for the continued rise in commodity prices despite the dollar's decline. So this is a different market. See, yesterday we had an article with the market. This is more food stuff. Look at those olives there. And there's stuff in cans and bags and yeah, look at these bananas hanging here. So this is a food market. So if you want to read that, you can. There's a number of reasons behind the continued rise in the prices of goods and services in Iraqi markets, despite the decline in the dollar, linking the matter to what he described as weak official Iraqi monitoring and accountability in monitoring prices. So there's other factors that are geopolitical, right? That are affecting the local markets. So if you want to read that, with the dinar's value improving, so I like that, with the dinar's value improving and approaching the official exchange rate, we should now see an official government campaign to carefully monitor market prices and hold accountable anyone proven to have been negligent or manipulated in this regard to protect consumer rights and achieve a better level of social justice. Will we see this happen soon? So he's expecting a rate change, but, he's saying, that's all they can say, right? So this is a really good article, which if you just read the title, you wouldn't know. So I suggest reading this, okay? Alrighty. So now this. KRG official slams critics of My Account project, citing hypocrisy and harm to citizens. So they did pay the people, right? They paid them and it got chaotic, and you could see the chaos could be witnessed at a bank in Halabja. Now, does Halabja sound familiar? That is the newest governance. Remember, they just passed, Parliament couldn't get nothing else done in their session, but they agreed to certify Halabja as the 19th governance of Iraq. So let me show you. So here's the article. You could read the article if you like. Then he tweeted, this guy, Aziz Ahmad, tweeted complaining about. So it looks like even though the ruling families are making the citizens use this system, they're complaining about it. It seems like maybe they got caught accidentally complaining about it. Okay, but so here, if you go to his Twitter, you'll see this video. So they're all crowding, trying to get into the bank. There's one guy trying to make them go orderly, but they're like, we haven't been paid in 3 months. Get out the way. Look at him. And watch, you're going to see one guy's cane. One guy's cane is going to come in the, oops, let me see. It's only a 2-minute video. And actually, I think some of it is repeated. But look at that. Isn't that a shame? That's so sad. But here's his cane. So, because remember, the retirees got paid first, right? So, if you want to get to that, go to the blog. This is the article. It has the image of the ATM machine, right? And you would get to this part where it says there's a video right here that is on Twitter. But, oh, sometimes Twitter does let you embed the videos. I forgot. Okay, I'll try to embed the video. If I remember how to do it, I think it has to be enabled. If the option to embed the video is enabled, I will. I'll just put the video there. Okay, all right. So that's that. So here's a political expert. Well, warning of a U.S. Gulf plot to reignite the Iraqi street and topple the government. And it could be. We don't know. There's definitely something going on between our administration and Sudani. But so it says here, there are moves on the horizon to prepare the Iraqi street for the launch of mass demonstrations, which are being promoted by external parties led by the U.S. and Gulf states. Now, can he prove that? I bet you he can if he said it. I don't know. But particularly, it's this issue with the popular mobilization forces. That's what they're putting in writing, right? So this is not good, but it is what it is, right? And it's good. My favorite book tells me a wise man sees trouble coming and gets prepared. And that's what I do this for. I just want to, yes, everything looks good, everything's modern. Um, they could do it anytime they want, but because there's a shift of power, that overrides money, especially when the people who make the decisions have money, right? So, yeah. So, if you'd like to support, and I thank you in advance, I'm going to say it now before I forget. I thank you in advance. When this is a live blog, this will be a live link to buy me a coffee. Cash App is always live, and it's $ T as in Tom, I, S as in Sam, H, W, A, S as in Sam, H, and then PayPal, same thing, Tish Wash. All right, so here is an interesting, I'm just going to read the title. Sovereignty is a red line. Parliament rejects any foreign military presence without government approval. So that's the title. And then here it looks like, okay, these guys look American, don't they? I mean, you can only see their faces, but I mean, a little bit of their faces, but and to me it looks like they're packing up, right? I don't know. So, Parliamentary Security and Defense Committee affirmed Iraq's categorical rejection of any foreign military presence on its territory outside the framework of the Iraqi government's approval, emphasizing that national sovereignty is a red line that cannot be compromised. But like I always say, how sovereign are you if we control your money? But anyway, but they have to keep the facade going for their people. So this is going to be an issue because I think it is September when there's supposed to be a significant troop movement. But we'll see. That's just another little thing bubbling in the background. So we're still welcomed as technical and cooperation at the level of advisory and training. Right? Remember when they did that? They're like, oh, no troops? Okay. We're advisors. Yeah. Yeah, we're training. We're training you. And then they went from advisors to something else, some other name. And then they went to NATO, right? So there's some things they can do. All right. And then this is interesting, and I may have even talked about this yesterday. All the days run together. Iran and Iraq, silent dominance and signs of declining influence. How will the neighbor reposition itself? Will it invest more in the Iraqi political arena? Can it maintain its influence in Iraq, or is it entering a countdown phase? And that's what we want, right? And they go on and talk about confrontation between us and Ice Cream Land puts pressure on Iraq. And the neighbor feels it as well, right? And they're approaching elections in November. So if you didn't believe me, there it is in writing. Okay, that's all I'm going to say from that article. And there is division, Shiite house division challenges. So it looks like it's a long article, but it's not. There's my buddy. This is the H people. Uti. Uti, right? We targeted 4. Look how they have to do that. I just noticed that. We targeted 4 enemy. Mm, uh, yeah, I didn't mean to say that word either. See, this sentence is just full of words I can't say. But they put in parentheses, uh, Ice Cream Land, the short name for Ice Cream Land. But yeah, because they don't use the word. They don't use that word. They use the Z word and words like enemy and other that are less nice. What there's his name. He's Brigadier General Yahya Sari. Isn't that how you would say that? That's how I say it. Yahya Sari. And he's the one that goes on TV and screams. So, but now he's coming on after to report the damage. He it's not going, or what they did, I should say. See, we carried out a qualitative mm, um men in uniform operation on a sensitive, circled in on area of ice cream land. So I know it's really hard. I apologize, but it's just safer for me if I don't say those words. All right, so here, this is the treat that I said you may want to go see. It's about 15 minutes. This they ran this on their TV. It's everything from the credit card, the debit card coming in the mail to their house, to them going to the stores, to them shopping. They even have this one lady, her hair is done, she has on makeup, her hair is uncovered. I mean, she's tapping her face with her card and she's looking at a purse through the window. They even have things like that, like she's thinking, should I buy this purse or not? Right? They have images of the billboards that are up in the streets. So, if you have no life like me, you can watch this. It has the little gear there if you want to speed it up, but there's no sound. See, I put here, no sound. And I have a feeling they're going to rerun it. It cut off. I missed about the first 4 or 5 minutes of it. And then it cut off. It said that my disc was full or something like that. So, but there's only like 2 minutes more of it. But anyway, yeah, so if you want to see that, this will be the last item on the blog. So right here will be the transcript of that video that I showed you in my email. And then it'll be that. So if you don't want to look at all the articles and everything, you go to the blog and you just scroll all the way down to the bottom and that video will be there. All right. So that's it. I said I wouldn't be long, but look at that. All right. Just want to make sure you get your money's worth, right? All right. So I may not post tomorrow if there's nothing worthy, I won't. But I always say that, and then of course they do something. So yeah. But and the rate, the dinar, the parallel market rate closed at 1380 in some places. So there were still some like 1415s, 1420, but a couple in two places it closed at 1380. So that's pretty stable. I bet you they'll call that stable. And we'll see what happens next week. Well, Sunday, Sunday is the first day of the week for them. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Do I have let me show you what the Google closed out at. So 1307 is what the Google closed out at for Friday. And our little Forex chart, it closed out at 1285. All right. I like those numbers. All right. So that's it. Accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. Thank you. Subscribe, like, follow, join, whatever, because I don't post regularly. So if you activate those buttons, when I post, you'll be notified. If you didn't see the last video, it's going to pop up when this video ends. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until next time, thank you.